Dear students, we will discuss something about game theory. Game theory is the science of strategy. It attempts to determine mathematically and logically the actions that players should take to secure the best outcomes for themselves in a wide array of games. Game theory was pioneered by a great mathematician, John von Neumann. In the early years, the emphasis was on the games of pure conflict, that is, zero sum games. Other games were considered in a cooperative form, that is, the participants were supposed to choose and implement their actions jointly. Recent research has focused on games that are neither zero sum nor purely cooperative. In these games, the players choose their actions separately, but their links to others involve element of both competition and cooperation. All games have the following components. First one is rules which govern the conduct of the players. Rules are very, very important. Accordingly, they have to play games. And second one is payoffs, such as win, lose, or draw. Three possibilities will be there. Third one is strategies which influence the decision making process. In applying game theory to the behavior of firms, we can suggest that firms face a number of strategic choices which govern their ability to achieve a desired payoff. Payoff refers to reward, including first one is decision on the price and output, such as whether to raise, lower, or hold, whether to raise the price or whether to lower the price or to hold the price. Second one is decision on products, such as whether to keep existing products, whether it is okay. Second one is develop new ones. Sometimes existing products will be outdated. Oligopolists, they have to launch new product to the market. These taste and preferences are not constant. So, third one is decision on promoting products, such as whether to spend more on advertising. Right now, this is advertisement era. Whether to spend more on advertisement or spend less on advertisement or keep spending constant. So he has to take decision out of three, which gives him maximum payoff. Firms could derive a range of possible payoffs from their strategy choices, including more profit for shareholders, greater market share, improved chances of survival, getting rid of a rival. So these four possibilities will be there. Now we will discuss this game theory with the context of the prisoner dilemma. The prisoner's dilemma is a simple game which illustrates the choices facing oligopolies. The name prisoner's dilemma was first used in 1950s by Canadian mathematician Albert W. Tucker when providing a simple example of game theory. As you read the scenarios, You can play the part of one of the prisoner. The scenario: the Robin and Tom are prisoners. They are the two prisoners, Robin and Tom. They have been arrested for a petty crime of which there is good evidence of their guilt. If found guilty, they will receive a 2 years sentence. Second one, during the interview, the police officer becomes suspicious that the two prisoners are also guilty of a serious crime, but is not sure he has any evidence. Third one, the Robin and Tom are placed in separate rooms, isolated each other, and cannot communicate with each other. The police officer tries to get them to confess to the serious crime by offering them some options with possible payoffs, that is, rewards. The options: each is told that if they both confess to the serious crime, they will receive a sentence of 3 years. However, each is also told that if he confesses and his partner does not, then he will get a light sentence of 1 year and his partner will get 10 years. They know that if they both deny the serious offense, they are certain to be found guilty of the lesser offense and will get a 2 year sentence. What would you do if you are one of them? Give an answer before you read. The dilemma is that their own payoff is wholly dependent on the behavior of other prisoner. To avoid the worst case scenario, 10 years, the safest option is to confess and get 3 years. If the collusion is possible, they can both agree to deny and get 2 years. But there is a very strong incentive to cheat, because if one denies and other confess, the best outcome of all is possible, that is 1 year. Fearing that other may cheat, the safest option is to confess. This is illustrated beautifully in this box diagram. Types of strategy. First one is Maximex strategy. Is one where the player attempts to earn maximum possible benefit available. This means they will prefer the alternative, which includes the chance of achieving the best possible outcome even if a highly unfavorable outcome is possible. This strategy, often referred to as the best of the best, is often seen as naive and overly optimistic strategy, in that it assumes a highly favorable environment for decision making. The best payoff for Robin from confessing is 1 year with Tom denying, and the best payoff from denying is 2 years with Tom denying. So the best of the best is to confess 1 year. And second one is Maximin strategy. A Maximin strategy is where a player chooses the best of the worst payoff. This is commonly chosen when a player cannot rely on other party to keep any agreement that has been made. For example, to deny. In the prisoner's dilemma, the worst payoff to Robin from confessing is to get 3 years with Tom confessing, and the worst payoff from denying is 10 years. Therefore, the best of the worst is to confess. In this case, both the Maximin and Maximax strategies would be to confess. When this occurs, it is said to be the dominant strategy. Dominant strategy. A dominant strategy is the best outcome of irrespective of what the other player chooses. In this case, it is for each player to confess. Both the optimistic maximax and pessimistic maximin lead to the same decision being taken. How does this relate to a firm behavior? In general, game theory suggests that firms are unlikely to trust each other even if they collude and come to an agreement, such as raising price together. Consider hypothetical example of two airlines and return ticket prices to New York. It is illustrated in this box. In this case, for both airlines, the aggressive Maximax strategy is 140 found from a low price and 120 found from a high price. So a low price gives the Maximax payoff. In terms of pessimistic Maximin strategy, the worst outcome from a low price is 100 pounds and from the high price 70 pounds. Hence, a low price provides the best of the worst outcomes. Again, lowering the price is the dominant strategy, and the only way to increase the payoff would be to collude and increase price together. Of course, this requires an agreement and collusion, and this creates two further risks. One of the airlines reneges on the agreement and rats, and the competition authorities investigate the airlines and impose a penalty. Now, in this context, let us discuss something about Nash equilibrium. What is Nash equilibrium? Nash equilibrium, named after Nobel winning economist John Nash, is a solution to the game involving two or more players who want the best outcome for themselves and must take the actions of others into account. When Nash equilibrium is reached, players cannot improve their payoff by independently changing their strategy. This means that it is the best strategy, assuming the other has chosen a strategy and will not change it. For example, in the prisoner's dilemma game, confessing is a Nash equilibrium because it is the best outcome, taking into account the likely actions of others. Now, let us discuss something about implications of this theory. Game theory provides many insights into the behavior of oligopolists. For example, it indicates that generating rules for behavior may take some of the risk out of competition, such as employing a simple cost plus pricing method which is shared by all participants. This would work well in situations where oligopolists share similar or identical costs, such as with petrol retailing. Implicitly agreeing a price leader with other firms as follows. In the airline example, firm A may lead and raise price, with B positively following suit. In this case, both would generate revenues of 120 pounds. And supermarkets implicitly agreeing some lines where price cutting will take place, such as bread or baked beans, but keeping price constant for most lines, generally keeping price stable to avoid price retaliation. Thank you for listening.